What is going on, and welcome to Dan Dent's Perspective. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the newest period romantic drama film, Wuthering Heights. And I have been wanting to do this video for quite some time, so I apologize if I've been silent, been having a lot of remodels and such around the house and my room going on. But here I am. To my subscribers, I apologize once again for the silence, but wanted to do this video, so here I am doing this right now. But before we get started, to new viewers who are watching this, be sure to hit the like button, also subscribe to the channel as it really helps a lot. Let's dive deep into Wuthering Heights. Before I talk about my initial thoughts of this movie, I do have to briefly mention what is Wuthering Heights. It is based on an 1847 novel that's been released but not talked about over centuries, but yet people still have read this novel and it's been re-released over these copies and it's not been talked about. It's not even like a recent newest novel as just came out over like a year or two ago. But all I know is that this is a romantic period film that takes place way back in long time periods. And I don't know much about the source material at all. And it did have some sort of controversies, not just during the novel at the time, but also because of the castings, I believe. But I don't care about this stuff at all. And it's a great thing for me. I don't really know the material at all. So I have zero expectations of what this Wuthering Heights can really tell us a story about. So that's all I want to briefly touch on what this novel and this movie really means. Now, to talk about the very much goods in this movie real quick, I have to say from a technical standpoint, this movie, never thought, but I've been hearing incredible buzz on this looks of this movie, at least the cinematography wise. Oh my goodness. It is so beautiful, so good. And this is what really is important about filmmaking, especially presenting movies to the movie theaters and presenting around the world. You got to have a really good shot of the settings, the characters, and some unique production value of what the shots really look like. And it's outstandingly amazing. I was really soaked in to most of the spectacle this movie provided, and it's really delivers a lot of that than I anticipated and I hear from people's reactions. And that really is the topping selling point of this movie. I know this is probably going to die off later in the year in terms of like what the Oscars or nominations are going to be like, but the cinematography is so damn brilliant. I really hope this will be talked about throughout months because this is like the very first movie, at least so far, that has very unique, great shots. I know I've seen a couple films that have good, unique shots since this year, but I thought Wuthering Heights, to me at least, has one of the unique, best cinematography shots. It is done by Linus Sandgren. Hope I said the name right, but he has done tremendous cinematography work with not just Emerald Fennell, but has also done with Damien Chazelle as well, and also No Time to Die. And the exciting thing about my anticipation with this guy, who's also doing the cinematography throughout these movies, is that he has done Dune Part 3, which is coming out this year. So I cannot wait to see how he does with this movie. The fact Greg Pfizer didn't do that cinematography for Part 3, which is really unfortunate. I'm really now glad to see why Linus did this movie and he's doing Dune Part 3 for that matter. I think he's just going to knock it out of the park just well. And the production design of this movie also looks astounding with the cinematographer. I thought the production looks very good and it was well done through these period times. The costumes as well, which is really unique. But at the same time, I don't know what period it is at the same time. What I will say, I only know is really is a novel based on 1847. So I don't know if it's in that era or not. But it's really hard to tell what year it takes place in that, but it really takes a lot of centuries back then. The musical score is really outstanding as well. It gives the right scenery of tone and vibes. The soundtrack really serves to the time period it really presents, which again, I don't know what year this film takes place, but also the original songs by Charlie ZC, if I say the name right. I thought her soundtrack, of course, her own songs, really blends very efficiently with this film. And out of all soundtracks I listened to movie wise, I pretty much thought this one is pretty much the best so far this year. Now, I have to say, there is a lot of flaws to this movie, and I don't expect it, a lot of this, and I anticipated before hearing the reactions. But just to talk about Emerald Fennell, I've never seen any of her movies, so that's a good thing for myself that I never seen any of her films. So I don't know what they're like. I know she's done one very amazing movie, Promising Young Woman, and then Saltburn after that. So her third film, she also serves the writing of this movie. But just to talk about her direction real quick, I thought her direction, at least from the scenery, was pretty amazing. So I got at least a taste of what her direction would be like, especially in this time period in movie serves and that not 1847 novel. But what really jogs me a lot is just the writing directional choices throughout these movie. And when I literally mean that, there are certain characters, but also two main lead characters. I mean, there's Kathy, Heathcliff, and they're technically like, Kathy found Heathcliff when she was a young kid, so technically it's her pet, which is what's been named from her father. But not just that, but while this is a romantic novel movie indeed, it kind of doesn't know where it wants to commit it. And there's some directional choices each of these characters make that really threw me off from not even just investing into the characters, but knowing what kind of romance movie this movie's going for. It just really is hard to sit through this movie and just seeing like what kind of choices is Kathy or Heathcliff is going to make, and there's just some boggling choices. Just me personally. I mean, I think everyone else feels the same. I don't think this movie isn't long, but there could have been just better creative choices in the writing department that would have been just better and find the identity of what kind of romance movie it wants to be. It's either going to be 50 Shades or it's going to be Titanic romantic type, which I was expecting either of those to be honest, and I was hoping to hear it's one of the most romantic movies of all time, given the timeline that we never had this kind of stuff in a minute. But this film with the romantic style just falls very flat. And out of two cast leads, you got Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi in the leads. I thought they were both pretty fantastic and their chemistry was pretty good. But at the same time, the characters with them and along with others, the decisions, like I said from the last part of this video, I meant to mention, the writing and directional choices just threw me off and has not made me invested in the characters, unfortunately. But I do gotta give credit for the applauding of the performances where it's due. So I gotta say these two were pretty fantastic. There are other ones as well, I can almost say, but again, none of these characters kind of fit my resonating outside the performances that I really invested emotionally into. So to cap off my overall thoughts, I find it Wuthering Heights a complete mixed bag. While a technical standpoint is super brilliant, I can almost at least watch this movie again sometime, at least for the cinematography and the scenery and the soundtrack it presents. So those are the most favorable parts. I will say they're the huge positives going to this movie. While the direction and the scenery with Emerald Fennell were pretty freaky and pretty unique, the story is where it completely falls flat a lot. Not investing emotionally into the characters and so on really falls a lot down, really, unfortunately. And again, the commitment romance type of what it wants to be is where it really falls flat for me of why it's a mixed bag, either going to the Titanic or the 50 Shades level. But while adding some freaky elements of romance to this movie, at least a little bit, it just didn't do enough to committing what kind of romance it wants to be. So that's pretty much the downfall of that. So overall, I'll be giving Wuthering Heights a 6 out of 10 and 3 stars. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy content like this. And let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section if you have seen Wuthering Heights, and let me know what you think of it. And until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace. I'm out.